Hey there, Internet. My name's Victor, and this is an opinionated review I did for Divine Cybermancy for PC. E.Y.E is a first-person shooter developed on the Source engine and created by Strelum Studios. Though it's more than just your rootin' tootin' point-and-shootin' Call of Duty game, you can control really cool psionic powers such as being able to go invisible, hacking into your enemy's brain and just making them blow up. The whole story itself revolves around your character who's lost his mind, or his memory, one of the two, I don't know, probably both. And it's just terrorism between these two factions. It gets a way more in-depth, like, they've got their own lore that you can read within the game, and, like, I read it, there's a bunch of stuff. Humanity, like, killed itself after a bunch of world wars, and then they had this huge dark age again. Aliens invaded, stuff like that. It's, I don't know, it's interesting, but you really have to look for it. That being that there really is a good story here. It's not necessarily, like, amazing writing, but it's there, it's good. It's just, you have to get into it in order to care. Other than that, you'll just kind of, like, go, whatever, and you'll just pick up your objectives and go along the game as if you don't really care what's going on. But it's there. It's just not Shakespeare. Though, graphically for a Source game, that being a mod too, developed by an indie team, this game looks really good. Again, it's not like Battlefield 3 here, but it looks pretty damn good for a Source game. It tries to go with the more realistic cyberpunk look than stylized, but there is some really unique character design. It ends up looking just kind of bland at times, but most of the time you're like, whoa, this is running on Source? This is pretty good. I believe the music and sounds were originally scored for this game, specifically. Like, it obviously has the same, like, little Source sound effects, like the door opening stuff, or, like, the gunshot sounds when a bullet hits metal. Like, you'll always find that stuff similar to Source games, but there's a lot of stuff here, just sound-wise, that you'll know is unique to this game, and not just another Source game do-over. Though, when it does have voice acting, it's kind of like its own language, since, like I said earlier in the story, it's all lore-based, and, like, humanity's completely died out, and it's created its own new language, but apparently somebody told me it was French. I don't think this sounds French at all, personally, but it's mostly just like, I've been attacked. You just get shot, and it's like, they spot you, and it's little strange grunting noises, mostly, that consists of it. Like any good game should be, you're gonna buy E.Y.E because it has great gameplay and a lot of replay value. More importantly than that is that, other than you can just play it as, like, rootin' tootin' point and shooting game, you can have, like, hacking abilities where you can, like, actually hack into enemies' brains and just, like, kill them with their nanopods or whatever's. You can kill people by hacking into their brains, which is just, it's badass, and I think that's cool because I like being a hacker in this game. There's other stuff like being able to clone your stealth or going into stealth mode. You can stealth behind people and get a backstab on them because there's, like, a lot of different weapon types. Like, there's not a lot of weapons, but there's a lot of different ways to play with the weapons that you've got. They've got shotguns, submachine guns, sniper rifles, all the regular stuff that you expect, even big heavy weapons like chain guns, and that's another cool thing about E.Y.E. Like, while you can play it really stealthy and all this stuff, you can also just go full force and just blow people away because they allow you to upgrade yourself to become this, like, extremely tanky, slow character that just doesn't take any damage, and you can just blow people away, and you can just destroy the game. But if you really want to, you can play that stealthy guy who just kills people by hacking into their brains, or just stealths up and backstabs them. I don't know. That's the other thing that adds to, like, being able to have a lot of replay value. You can play it a bunch of different times as a different character. And it's not just like, oh, the exact same well, yeah, it would be the exact same decision at the same time over because it's a story or whatever, but you could go into the, like, random missions, because I honestly personally find the random missions more fun than the actual story at times, because you can just go back and play in that same cool environment a bunch of times over and do these same missions. My bad, not the same, they're all randomly generated whenever you go back and play another environment over again. You can play the entire game, and I'm being dead serious here, you can play the entire game co-op, which I really like when games do this. I honestly don't even even care if it just kind of feels tacked on. It's like, oh, it's not story-based, so we can't put it in the game. No, I just want to play a game co-op with my friends. I don't care if it doesn't really fit at all. Like, you could have the characters spawn on each other and look all stupid, and the animations can be messed up, but when you let people play their game together, it's a lot more fun, especially if it just works. And I works with co-op. Despite that, with I having co-op, could feel a little bit easy at times, but generally it's kind of a hard game. Like, when I first played, I really didn't know what to do at all. Like, because I'm a big RPG fan, but I was just kind of wandering around, and I didn't really get it because, like, you don't have regenerating health, which I like it when games don't give you the regenerating health crap, but there was, like, no way to heal, and I didn't understand it. And I started realizing every single time I killed an enemy, I got bros hoofs, like bro dollars, and that pretty much accumulated to a bunch of money. So then I realized, oh, I've got to purchase the medkit upgrade, not just... It was a little bit confusing. Like, this game has a really big learning curve, but after you get over it, it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, I can blaze through this, and I can have fun playing it. It's like, it's fun. It's like probably the biggest negative thing about it. It's like you'll jump in and you'll be like, what the fuck is going on? And you really have to look and listen to have fun with I. And I believe I stated earlier that this game has, like, amazing replay value because, like, you can play the entire thing co-op, the entire thing on your own. There's, like, tons of missions that you can play with your friends. It's insane. Like, there's so many areas. Like, the way that they split it, they say it's open world, but the way they split it up is in just to a bunch of different smaller worlds where it's kind of pretty open in those environments. So it's big open environments, but you switch between them. Kind of like how the original Half-Life was. Like, it was one solid fluid experience going all the way through, but you had to load into different levels. And it's like the big main world, there's a big hub world that you can go into, and then you can switch between these missions, and after you complete one, you unlock it to play it with just like again, just for fun, and with like all these randomly generated missions. And that's why it's got amazing replay value, because you can do the same environments over and over, but it'll always be these different missions, but it won't be the story missions over and over the same time. So I personally had a blast playing I after I knew what I was doing. It looks good, it sounds good, it's interesting, it doesn't have some boring story, so honestly, it's a good game. It's just, it's got that big learning curve that some people might not be able to leap over that bump and just keep on playing. I'm giving I, Divine Cybermancy, a 4 out of 5. My reasoning behind this being that I was wanting to give it a 5 out of 5, but I felt that was just too generous, and because of all the little setbacks that I had while I was playing, like figuring out what the hell to do for the first hour, or just all the little small glitches that end up kind of not necessarily ruining it. I don't think glitches in any way ruin a game. I honestly find glitches kind of funny when they happen, but I just don't think I is at that super polished level of a game. It's just a really good game, and if it were to ever go on sale, I wouldn't even think twice about picking it up.